Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. We are jumping straight into the strategic heart of the Six Nations Championship.
We really are.
Because for France, the reigning champions, the tournament hasn't even kicked off yet, and they're already facing a huge selection dilemma.
It's incredible. The stakes for their title defense couldn't possibly be higher, and a major challenge has just popped up right at the spine of the team.
It's a proper crisis, but what's so fascinating is how it immediately flips into this incredible opportunity.
And that's going to force Fabien Galthie into a choice that will, I think, define the first few rounds of their whole competition.
Absolutely. We're here to unpack all of that, but before we get into the details, we have to say, if you want world-class coverage, you can trust not just scores, but the deep strategic stuff. Make sure you are subscribed to Rugby Obsession right now.
Yeah, we're here to really analyze the facts around this injury to Scrum-half Maxime Lucu, and then explore the massive puzzle it creates for Les Bleus.
Right. And the real tension is a big injury blow like this usually means disaster. But in this very specific case, it might just open the door for the return of, well, one of the best players in the world, Antoine Dupont.
Way ahead of schedule, potentially.
Okay, so let's start with the hard facts. The setback itself. Our sources confirm Maxime Lucu, the Bordeaux scrum-half, is a massive doubt for the start of the championship.
And he is such an anchor for them. This isn't just, a rotational player getting a knock. This is a real disruption.
It is.
The clinical details are pretty specific. His coach at UBB, Yannick Brew, gave a recovering time frame. He said, if Maxime Lucu works well, it will be 4 weeks.
Which is optimistic.
Very. And then he immediately followed it with, otherwise it will be 6.
And that 6-week time frame, let's be honest, for a knee injury, that often ends up being the more realistic one, doesn't it?
It does, which means Lucu is almost certainly going to miss the opening 2 rounds, and they are absolutely crucial.
So what are those early fixtures?
Well, first up, it's a massive showdown against Ireland. That's the opening game, Thursday, February 5th.
A must-win right out of the gate. A true high-stakes rivalry.
Exactly. Then, in round 2, they travel to face a very dangerous Welsh side at the Principality Stadium.
Wow. So losing a player with Luca's experience and his control for 2 high-pressure away games like that, that's instant strategic chaos.
For sure. And we have to give some context here. Lucas isn't just a fill-in. He's been a mainstay since his debut in 2021, or he got 33 caps.
He plays that really conservative, territorial game, manages the tempo. He's the safe pair of hands.
That's the perfect way to put it. He executes the coaching plan flawlessly, so his absence leaves a huge functional void. But, and this is the big but.
This is where it gets exciting.
This is where the whole narrative just explodes with positive energy. Luca's situation presents an immediate, undeniable opportunity to bring the superstar captain, Antoine Dupont, back into the starting 15.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Dupont's been focused elsewhere since last year, hasn't he?
Correct. He hasn't worn that blue jersey since he ruptured his ACL.
Against Ireland, that's right.
Against Ireland in the last championship. It was a huge moment of worry for all of French rugby. But he is now back, playing for Toulouse, and playing well.
And what about this Olympic Sevens link? How does that benefit his return to the 15-a-side game?
Well, it really addresses the main concern, which is fitness. He's an Olympic gold medalist, and that prep for the Sevens circuit demands peak conditioning.
Right, so he hasn't just been sitting on the sidelines.
Not at all. He's been training for a completely different kind of high-level rugby. And that intense work should, hopefully mitigate some of the usual fears about re-injury after an ACL repair.
And his form, the reports are glowing. He's been called an unstoppable magician. And that performance against La Rochelle to round off 2025 was apparently a masterpiece.
That was the confirmation for Galthie, I think. It showed that his core skill set, the explosive line breaks, the defense, the unpredictable kicking game, is all still there, razor sharp.
The stuff Luca just can't replicate.
Exactly. Luca gives you consistency. Dupont gives you that unpredictable, world-class chaos that wins you the tightest matches.
Hold on a second. Despite all this positive talk, his genius, his fitness, is it actually smart to throw a player just months off an ACL rupture straight into a brutal test against Ireland?
And that is the pivotal question, isn't it? The source material acknowledges the risk. But, James Weil wrote that France needs consistency and clarity of style.
And Dupont is that clarity.
He is that clarity. His presence alone settles the entire team. It sends a message. Luca's injury might be forcing Galthie's hand into making the most potent selection possible.
It's a huge psychological boost, too. You replace the reliable guy with the former World Player of the Year. That's a massive lift for squad morale.
For sure.
So this brings up a fantastic question for you, the listener. What do you think? Should Galthie risk Dupont immediately in that massive opener against Ireland? Or is it smarter to wait, ease him back in for round 3? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
That's a tough call.
It is. And while you're thinking about that, don't miss out on these kinds of insights. Be sure to subscribe to Rugby Obsession so you never miss a deep dive.
So we have to look at the other side of this, the contingency plan. Even if Dupont comes back in, Galthie needs reliable cover.
Of course.
And this is where you see the incredible depth that France has right now.
So who's on the depth chart after the big 2?
First up, you've got Nolann le Garrec from La Rochelle. He's 23, highly rated, and he's not raw. He was key off the bench in the 2025 Six Nations win.
And he started against the Springboks. Right?
He did. So he has that recent high-pressure test experience. He offers speed, energy, a real live wire off the bench.
So how does his style differ? Why might you pick him for one game over another?
Well, le Garrec is a fantastic link player. He's lightning fast to the breakdown. So against a team like Ireland that dominates possession, you might want his durability and speed. But if you want to attack Wales more aggressively in round 2, his pace could be better used to exploit a tiring defense later in the game. It gives Galthie options.
And what about the veteran in the wings?
That would be Toulon's Baptiste Serin, the seasoned pro. He hasn't played a test since 2024, but he offers something different.
Experience.
Total maturity and test match savvy. He's the guy you bring on to close out a tight game in the last 20 minutes. A completely safe, conservative hand.
So you have the world beater, the young speedster, and the reliable veteran. It really does soften the blow of losing Lucu. It turns a crisis into a positive selection headache.
Precisely. And all this is happening while their biggest rivals are dealing with their own issues.
What are we hearing about them?
Well, the sources mention that Ireland still has question marks over some key positions. There's a feeling that Andy Farrell needs to be more ruthless than ever with his selections.
Interesting.
And Alan Quinlan pointed out a specific area where Ireland needs to see a spark back if they really want to contend.
So France's potential immediate clarity with Dupont's return is a stark contrast to Ireland's need for a bit of a reset. That opening round could be fascinating.
It really could. And that's the positive angle here. Lucu's injury, it's a setback for him for sure. But the potential early return of Antoine Dupont just completely changes the mood for France.
It's gone from a negative story to one of intense anticipation.
Exactly. They've effectively traded a few weeks of a reliable performer for the immediate possibility of the unstoppable magician returning at the exact moment they need him most.
At the end of the day, though, it all comes down to that one big decision.
It does. Considering that major ACL injury last year, this is the question Galthie has to answer this week. Is the immediate need for the world's best scrum half against Ireland worth the risk of re-injury?
A risk that could compromise the rest of his season, the Olympics, everything.
Or does France's incredible depth, with le Garrec and Serin waiting, give him the luxury of easing Dupont back in slowly, maybe against Wales? That one decision will set the tone for their entire championship.
That is the pressure cooker decision facing the French camp, and it's why the Six Nations is already so compelling before a ball has even been kicked. If you want to dive deeper into these tactics and stories, make sure you are subscribed to Rugby Obsession now.
You won't want to miss it.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. We will look forward to you listening to our next episode.